These are 10 facts that every hardcore NBA fan should know. Kobe, Kevin Durant, and Giannis have all made their mark on the NBA Finals. They've all been Finals MVP, but Giannis, as of now, has only been to one Finals and is already a greater scorer than Kobe and KD. Giannis has played in only 6 games, but he's scored at least 40 in 3 of those, including an epic 50-point performance in the closeout game, the most ever in Finals history. Kevin Durant has played in 15 Finals games and scored 43 points only once in Game 3 of the 2018 Finals against the LeBron James-led Cavaliers. Kobe's played in 37 Finals games and scored 40 points once in Game 5 of the 2009 Finals against the Orlando Magic. Who would have thought that the Greek Freak would be an MJ-like scorer? By the way, Jordan has 6 40-point games in over 35 Finals games. But LeBron is even more twisted. James is the all-time leading scorer and one of the best to ever do it. He's made some amazing passes and dunks over the years, so we all know he's right-handed, right? Actually, off the court, he's a southpaw. He's actually ambidextrous, but with his friends and family, he loves getting his left hand to work. Here's a little backstory, and when asked about this, he said that when he was young, he tried to be like his heroes, Michael Jordan and Penny Hardaway. So with that, he started shooting with his right hand because that's how they did it. Just think what would happen if LeBron also shot with his left hand. Would he be even better? But did you know that Kobe needed his parents' permission just to play in the NBA?
Bryant to the basket, inside! Oh, what a finish for Bryant!
In 1996, Kobe Bryant was drafted as the 13th pick by the Charlotte Hornets, but they traded him right away to the Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe was just 17 years old as he was the first guard to be drafted out of high school. Back then, there were different rules about who could be in the NBA draft than there are now. So Kobe's rookie contract had to be co-signed by his parents until he was able to sign on his own when he turned 18 before the season began. And the rest, as you know, is history. But Kobe's greatness doesn't end there. From March 16th through the 23rd of 2007, the late Kobe Bryant put on a show like no other. In that 7-day span, Kobe dropped 4 consecutive 50-point games, including a 60-point masterpiece against the Grizzlies. It's a feat that no other player in the NBA had achieved in that period of time. This remarkable scoring display was even more impressive when compared to the career of 13-time All-Star Dwayne Wade. In his 16 years in the NBA, Wade only had 3 50-point games, which is no easy feat. Kobe's remarkable week stands out even more with this comparison. Wade is a top 5 shooting guard of all time and can't even light a candle to this one. Kobe would go on to win his 2nd straight scoring title at the end of the season, after averaging a dominant 31.6 points per game. And in his 20-year career, Kobe would actually finish with a total of 25 50-point games, which is the 3rd most in NBA history. The only players who had more are Michael Jordan with 31 and Wilt Chamberlain with 118. Talk about the hottest of hot streaks. But Shaq wasn't as hot in the 95 Finals. At the time, the 22-year-old Shaq was the face of the Orlando Magic and led them to the Finals. But Shaq's storybook ending changed after clashing with one of the best centers in his prime, Hakeem Olajuwon. The Houston Rockets were the defending champs and ready to repeat. After averaging over 30 points, Olajuwon raised his regular season average by 5 and swept Shaquille in 4 games to become the Finals MVP. After the Finals, Shaq was so mad at Hakeem that he sent him a note challenging him to a one-on-one. Hakeem, the series may be a done deal, but it ain't over between you and me. Sure, you're pretty good with your team behind you, but I want you one-on-one. Signed, Shaq. Who do you think will win the battle? Subscribe to Big Time Hoops to find out. Just playing, but Taco Bell also had a commercial plugging a one-on-one pay-per-view match. The event never happened, and it was rumored that Commissioner Dave Stern shut it down. This is one of the more hilarious things that Shaq has done, and he's done a lot. But the real question is, how did Shaq have a typewriter right after the game? But the one thing we all know Shaq can do is score in the paint. The Diesel was just a freak of nature who weighed 325 pounds and could dunk on anyone in the paint. After winning 4 NBA titles and scoring over 28,000 points, can you believe that Shaq still had a weakness in his game? After trying 22 three-pointers over the course of his career, Shaq has only made 1 bucket.
The inbound, Shaq the catch. He's going to fire a 3. Yes! He hits the 3! And the hole!
That's a whopping 5% with me rounding up. This came at a clutch moment with only 2 seconds left on the clock. But this was even luck as he just threw it up and it banked in. I guess Superman had 2 kryptonites, threes and free throws. But what's even more strange is that Shaq has become a better shooter after his retirement. He's been seen a few times jacking up shots online. Who would have guessed? And I would have never guessed that Paul Pierce could make it out alive after almost getting murdered. Having an NBA deal means you've got the bucks to party. Paul Pierce was at Boston's Buzz Club in 2000, and it was a typical story of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. After a fight broke out in the club and Paul tried to get in the middle of the situation, he got stabbed 11 times. He had knives stuck in his face, neck, and back. Even a bottle was broken over his head. Tony Battle, who used to play on his team, rushed him to the hospital where he had to have surgery on his lungs to save his life. Surprisingly, he was walking on his own 3 days after the surgery. Soon, he was back on the court and shooting. One of the strangest things about it was that Pierce was the only Boston Celtics player to start all 82 games in the 2001-2002 season. This just can't be true for someone who was stabbed 11 times. That shows Pierce was strong-minded and cared a lot about his team. Talk about a Beantown legend. Brogdon had a great first year after being picked number 36 overall in the second round. Malcolm averaged 10 points and 4.2 assists per game for the young and up-and-coming Bucks team at the time. Brogdon became the first player not picked in the first round to win the Rookie of the Year award because of his standout play. He beat out 3-time Rookie of the Month winner Joel Embiid and his teammate, 2-time Rookie of the Month winner Dario Saric to win the award. Joel Embiid had good numbers as a rookie with 20 points and 7.8 rebounds per game. However, he only played in 31 games because of his torn meniscus, which made it less likely for him to win the award. Hey, what can you say? Get it while you can. But did you know that the tallest and shortest players ever were on the same team? We all know that you have to have size to play in the NBA, right? Shh, don't tell that to Muggsy Bogues. Muggsy is 5'3" and the shortest player of all time, but don't let that fool you. This guy was a pest on defense and a steals machine. He was always doubted, but always proving the critics wrong. On the other hand, the 7'6" Manute Bull was a towering giant who could block anything out of the sky. Already on the team, and they were hoping Muggsy could pressure the ball and Bull could clean it up. The media was calling it a circus sideshow just to sell tickets. Maybe it was a PR move, but they really thought that these guys were players and not just novelties. Unfortunately, the team didn't win and they blew up the team. Bull went on to Golden State to lead the league in blocks. Muggsy became the all-time leader in assists and steals in Charlotte Hornets history. Maybe Washington should have been more patient. But for what anomalies these guys were, this is highly unlikely to ever happen again. This last one is old school, but it has to be acknowledged. Jerry West led the 1969 Lakers to an epic showdown against the Boston Celtics that would go to 7 games. In a heartbreaking 108-106 loss in Game 7, the Celtics won the championship and took the crown. West also had 42 points, 13 rebounds, and 12 assists in the game. West's performance in the finals was hard to deny after averaging 38 points, 7.4 assists, and 4.7 rebounds. 38 points in 1969? In the finals? Talk about showtime. West is the only NBA player who has ever won the MVP award while playing for a losing team. LeBron's been close, but since then, no other player's been able to do it again. Hope you enjoyed the video. Check out another one now.